Hey everyone, it's John Carlos, and do I have a review for you guys today? I'm taking a look at the quarter scale NECA figure of Raphael in disguise from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1990 movie. Here's a look at some of the photos on the back, and if you want you can pause and read the little spiel right there on the packaging. But yeah, geez, look at this thing. Just look at it. It is gargantuan. You know, I recommend if you're opening this box up and you're not like standing doing it in front of a camera, maybe put it on the ground and use both your hands like a proper human. Yay! So here's Raph as he is right out of the packaging without any of his accessories like the hat or backpack on, and it's just a marvel to look at. If you're hip to the other NECA Ninja Turtles figures, then you probably already know that they are outstanding. This one is pretty much, it's the same Raph figure, but with, you know, a coat and some extra accessories. But the coat work on this is excellent. You can just see it's an actual belt that goes around his coat. Same thing with the little straps going around the sleeves. Functioning buttons that all go through the buttonholes. The collar work is clean, the seam work is clean. An awesome detail is this little section of his coat that, you know, you would think maybe they screwed up on the seam work. But that's actually intentional. If you look in the movie, he has a little section that's sort of hanging down. So that is screen accurate and a great, great detail for NECA to capture. Speaking of capturing details, let's just take a look at this amazing head. Good Lord, this is outstanding. It is the same head as the regular one, the previous release, but just taking a look at it, it's amazing. Let's brighten that up a little bit, just so you can see. I mean, the sculpt right there on the scar on his cheek, the little spots look pretty good. You know, you get to that one right there, and the brown kind of missed the circle on a few of them. But for the most part, they're pretty even. Although maybe they're supposed to be slightly off, and I'm just wrong. But I love the shading, how it's lighter in the front. It's darker towards the top. I love the sculpt of the mask, but I mean, look at the eyeballs in there, and look at the glassiness of them, and the fact that you can actually see like the pupil and the separation between like brown and black. Really outstanding work. Also outstanding, you can see his teeth. The paint on them's pretty good, but I like that sneer. I like the little mouth snarl, the wrinkling of the brows, and we get, you know, the actual cloth kind of mask that's tied in the back where it meets the kind of plastic sculpt. I want to complete his ensemble with two of the accessories he comes with. One is this hat, which has a little hole in the top, which allows for the top of his knot to not impede on the hat placement, and the hat fits on perfectly. He also comes with this backpack, which is not a cloth backpack. It is like a sculpted kind of toy accessory. In fact, it's hollow on the inside, but it does have a good sculpt to it. I like the wrinkling of it, and it should be pretty easy to put on because the straps just unplug from this little thing there. That way you don't have to like pull his arms back and try to slide the backpack all the way on. That was super easy to put on, just feeding those straps underneath his arm and just plugging them into the top. And it looks great. In fact, the edges of the wrinkles have their own kind of little paint edge, so that kind of highlights the sculpt a bit. So there's some darker pockets and some lighter things. The little buckles on it look good. I think that turned out great. So now we've got the full bogey look, and he looks great. So now I think I'm just gonna undress him, which I like the fact that he has functioning buttons. That way, if you want, you can recreate the little moment where he shows those two punks on the street that he's got a sigh under his coat. So, now that he's all naked, you can see that he is the same Raph figure as the previous Raph figure, which has a strong sculpt with 30 points of articulation. It's about 17 inches tall. Amazing paint job. I mean, you can just look here at the shading. Just like his neck shoulder area and how it lightens up along like the curves of the bicep, all along the arm. There's the spotting on the biceps. The front of his chest, it isn't just like a basic tan paint. There's dirt to it. It's like a soft rubbery material. Just the shading on the legs. The sculpt of these pads look good. I always like the attention to what I always consider as a kid like these gold nails, toenails and stuff. Also, I just like that certain pieces are kind of loosey-goosey, like his little wristbands there can kind of rotate if you want them to. And then really, really strong work on the shell. I like all the scuffs on it. Because, I think Raph had like the most scuffed up shell. And all those little lines on there look really good. Same shell, I think, as the previous one. But the brown paint on like his little belt that goes around, really great brown paint. Even the little the little ringlets for that little string that kind of ties around right there, really great work. Silver paint on the belt looks good too. This figure comes with some of the normal accessories that the previous one came with. Comes with his 2 size. They are identical. They aren't 2 different sculpts when it comes to the wraps. It's the same wraps on both. Comes with the same slice of pizza. Yeah, it's the exact same slice, I think. And he comes with alternate pair of hands, including kind of the relaxed left hand, relaxed palm, but also the right finger pointing one, which allows you to do, again, the sigh thing. So I'll show you guys that in a little bit later in the video. One of the other accessories this figure comes with is one of Casey Jones's Jose Canseco bats. And if you bought this figure, then you did pay money for this. And I think the detail on it is great because the brown paint really does read like wood, and the sculpt on the black tape has these nice little wrinkles on it that really do make it read like tape. One of the fun things about this figure is if you didn't get Raph before, you're getting the Raph figure plus stuff. So this is a good figure if you missed out the first time. It's got all the stuff from the initial release. Here's my approximation of the bit where Raph is pointing out his sigh when he pulls the trench coat open. Because I think it was the top button. I think it was that button, but it might have been this one. I'm pretty sure it was there. You kind of get the point. The elbow joint allows you to get his arm to a good place, but man, that's a good wrist joint that gets you to point to his sigh real good. So yeah, that's fun. Now, some of you out there who already have the Raph core scale figure may look at this and be a little upset and think, what the hell? I already bought it once and now there's a new one with a coat and a hat? That's not fair. But NECA does do double dips a lot. This didn't really surprise me. If you don't believe me, just take a look at all the comic book and video game versions of Terminator and RoboCop and Predator and all the Alien repaints. Double dips and reissues, it's what NECA does. And I gotta say, if you already have Raph and the whole collection already, like the main 4 guys, you don't necessarily need this one again. Like, for the same price point, you're just getting a bat and a hat and a backpack and a coat. However, having said that, I can't deny that this is awesome looking, and I don't begrudge anyone who wants to have their 4 turtles and also have Raph in the coat. But, for 100 to 120 bucks or so, you really have to consider whether you want to rebuy the whole thing again just for this. But for that price point, this is fantastic. I love Raph in the coat and the hat and all that. In fact, when I was a kid, one of my favorite Ninja Turtles figures, which came out right after the movie, well, the first movie was a Donatello in disguise figure with the trench coat and a hat and like a dumb little rubber human mask. And I would just take that little rubber mask and throw it away and pretend that my Donnie figure was Raph, because I love the idea of Raph in that disguise. I always liked this aesthetic a lot. So I actually like that NECA has gone back and made this. And also, I didn't get the original Turtles figures, but I admired them. They were outstanding. So, yeah, for someone like me who didn't have Raph, this is a good one to get because it includes all the things that Raph came with. Take the coat off, and you're essentially getting both versions of the figure. And it's outstanding. Again, it retails for like $100 most places. I see some people selling it for up to $120, but you can find it for $100. And what a great price point for what you're getting. In this age of Sideshow and Hot Toys and high-end figures and Hot Toys branching out into a lot of quarter scale figures, something of this quality from a company like NECA being available for like $100, such a steal. And the quality on this for a company like NECA is amazing. And NECA's been making quarter scale figures for a while. Look at all their horror figures and Marvel and stuff. But the Ninja Turtles are like on another level. I think this is some of probably the best stuff NECA's ever made. Just the quality of the sculpt and the texture on it, and then like the hard parts and the soft parts, that's what she said, are all outstanding. Great detail, quality sculpt. You put this on a shelf with other quarter scale figures, it stands up. Outstanding. And
I'm someone who doesn't really like cloth on action figures. I'm hip to it with like Hot Toys figures and all that, but with little action figures, like plastic action figures, it bugs me at 6-inch scale. But in this scale, not only does it work, but it really works because unlike other figures where the fabric is sculpted plastic, the Ninja Turtle is just the skin and the shell, and the cloth is a good contrast to the surface material that is the rest of the figure. And I like this coat a lot. It's well put together. The quality is present in the sewing, in the way it hangs on the character. It's not too big, it's not too small. The buttons are functional. It hangs right. It's a great looking coat. Excellent work from NECA. I can't stop saying that enough. That's my recommendation. It's great. I'm going to just shut up and end this review now. But thanks for watching, everybody. If you want, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, all that stuff.